I'm curious about is how does Ari do on this pos 4 punch, right? Because I think it is a good punch game. It's just a matter of, are you going to have the impact? Well, we're about to find out pretty soon how it's going to feel, as nouns are going to run right into TSM. But it seems like they are going to back off, at the very least, on TSM's end of things. Not feeling like they want the team fight. They'll head down towards the bottom side instead. And TSM are getting loud with the voice lines again. Fair enough. They have got some good ones. They've picked some nice ones up.
The Polaris ones from White One always get me. He just spams out the electric and it, ha ha ha. The Chuplak ones, and I'm like, oh my god, White One. He may
Hilarious.
not be in Southeast Asia anymore, but he's still got that Southeast Asian spirit.
Now he brings the SCA to NA. That's what's important.
I don't know if that's a good thing.
It looks... Well, you know, nobody's got a choice in the matter, John. He's bringing. TSM? I mean, it should be a 2 for 2. Looks like Tomato is sticking around to see if he can steal.
His hook did literally nothing. He couldn't grab a rune.
Okay.
He couldn't grab a hero. That's a little bit awkward.
Well, luckily this is a pro game, Jonathan, and his team probably isn't going to spam laughing voice lines every time he misses a hook. Hopefully, for Ari's sake, because that would be a little bit of psychological damage here for the pos 4 punch. As top lane, bit of a dive in here from Mu. The creep wave is gone, so Mu just completely skips the creep wave altogether, forcing Tomato to farm underneath the tier 1 tower, and this is apparently the way they're going to do it, is just keep skipping the creep wave and force Tomato to farm underneath the tier 1 tower. The problem is, like, Magnus has high armor as it is. Like, he has 4 base armor plus another 3 near the tower, so it's like, I don't think he really cares about this. Like, he's happy to farm that way if he needs to. But it seems like they are going to try and match up the creep waves, as Mu is now pulling one away. Whitemon's trying to pull the creep wave towards the dire creep wave, and he is at least going to find the range creep, forcing Mu to go for the Firefly. Shockwave out from Tomato. Blood Grenade being committed as well. Mu is going to be fine. Meanwhile, Kasane ends up dropping down at the bottom lane. But this top lane's where all the weird stuff's happening, because Mu now needs to back off because he's too low on HP. But they've pulled the large camp over. So they're just doing all these weird lane shenanigans to try and toss TSM all around the top lane.
Yeah, I like this. I think you already have a really strong lane set for the Batrider. Kotl, Batrider, just very self-sufficient once the chakra's up. They're making it pretty tough for Tomato to farm. At the same time, Tomato is still farming. He's not being zoned out too hard, so you should still be able to manage that lane quite well. Taking a peek at that mid just a little bit. Bryle up against Gunnar on the Wind Ranger versus Pango. Again, going a lot better for Gunnar now. And the Pangolier just tends to win out this matchup. You can stand back and power shot as the Wind Ranger. It's not the comfiest. And you just don't have the same durability as the Pangolier does. Wind Run just does not do as much in this lane as it would in other matchups.
Well, Ari now going down bottom lane, Yamsun able to pick up and kill himself on the TB. There's, this off lane of TSM has not gone too well. So already a nice start for Nouns, 2-0. More kills than they had last game in game 1, so already doubling what they the impact they had in game 1, at least in terms of kill scorers. Mu gonna try and go after Whitemon, but the Icarus dive was there from the Phoenix. Nouns, so far, love to see it. Love what they're doing.
They're getting that strong start. Again, we emphasized lanes coming into this game, and they have worked really strong lanes. Every single one working out in their favor. Bryle struggling a little bit. You're definitely slowing down here on Kasane. It's not a runaway start for the Darkseer. For the side of TSM, this is a slower draft. Like, it will take time for them to build into their power spikes. So this is to be expected. What they need to do is just hold out. Maybe try to get some stacks going if you can. Build up for that Magnus and just wait for these levels, wait for these timings. Maybe you expect a little bit more from Ari, to be fair. Like, it does feel like the Pudge should be finding these opportunities for yourself, but up against the techies, it's always kind of hard to be aggressive when there's sticky bombs all over, when there's a lot of nuking damage and slows. So you just kind of have to sit back a little bit, TSM. Stem the bleeding. If Nouns gets way more in the lanes, then I mean, we talked about weaknesses of Wind Ranger. When its timings are off, it's going to have to play catch up, and that doesn't feel good. You've already got a Darkseer and a Magnus that's going to be playing farm game here.
Bottom lane, Kasane is just not able to get close as Mu. Top lane, pops the Firefly. Again, going to get quite aggressive here onto Whitemon, forcing the Icarus dive away. Mu is finding quite a bit of farm here on the off-lane Batrider at the least. Just constantly clearing out these creep waves with the Firefly. It's really no problem for him to deal with these creeps at all. It's TSM. It's taking their time to farm up on Tomato, not too concerned by all this. The bottom lane was the one I was kind of trying to briefly mention, because Kasane is having a pretty bad time on the Dark Series. Even Ari now getting caught out by a blast off and a sticky bomb, forced to TP away. He's going to be just fine on the Pudge, but we'll have to go all the way back to the Fountain. And even Kasane, like, he's just getting bullied out of the lane constantly here by Yamsun. In fact, he gets thunderclapped by the creep. So Kasane almost going down, forced to surge away his top lane. In the meantime, Whitemon is going to go down. I believe he almost had a kill onto Lelis, but Lelis gets away and salves up.
And again, every lane, this start for nouns is the exact opposite of game one. You're absolutely crushing every lane. You don't have anything to play with right now for TSM. They need levels, and they need items. They need to play it a little bit slower. They are starting to get a little bit aggressive on Yamsun with a refresh on Ari. They've got the magic damage here.
Yeah, Yamsun, slow it up, really has nowhere to go. Hook is there as well, so Yamsun finally going to drop, but now the punishment isn't coming because Gunnar has rotated. In fact, they had 3 extra heroes there just to ensure they got the trades off. Gunnar, he'll be pretty happy with that. Finding both kills, even if they lost Yamsun. Very worthwhile, the rotation for Nouns, and even perfect with the 6-minute power rune timing if it does spawn bottom, but it does not. It spawns up top. It's going to be an invis for Bryle.
Yeah, it's perhaps a kill opportunity for Bryle. Maybe head up top, try to get some action going, connect with Tomato. Not quite going to be what Bryle does, just focusing in on his lane. Just trying to get as much as they can. 5-1 start. TSM again on the back foot. Really strong farm. Good timing met here by Gunnar. Oh, good shackled a bit.
The level 1 shackle, not going to last too long. I mean, TSM, 5-1. Thing is, Tomato's farming very well on the Magnus, and this is kind of the thing, right? Like, once he decides he's done with the laning phase and he's just going to hit the jungle forever, this hero, it feels like it's one of the fastest, just the fastest farmers in the game right now. No real slowing it down unless you can constantly pick it off. Husky, trying to be cheeky with the Wisdom still, does manage to pick it up. Nouns have been very good with finding these Wisdom runes and taking them away from TSM this series, but he will give his life up for that.
Yeah, you're still happy. Like, you're getting the EXP, you're denying these level spikes that you need on the TSM supports. Like, Whitemon's still level 3, Ari's still stuck at 4. You kind of need these 6s to be up, especially for Whitemon. Like, that's the one that hurts. The Phoenix needs to have that egg. You want to tie that in with your combinations. Heck, you want a value point from the Sunray as well. None of that's coming out anytime soon. And that just allows Nouns even more play. Again, just taking control of each lane, getting their own farm going. Taking a look at Yamsun, he's already queuing up the Dragonlance into a straight-up Butterfly. I don't know about the Butterfly Rush, to be fair. I just feel like you might actually be happier with, say, a Manta this game, just to have some stats, as there is enough magic damage here from TSM to not care about your physical. So I'm curious to see if Yamsun just sticks to that Butterfly Rush.
I think it's in terms of like just trying to make sure Brawl isn't able to just focus fire him down, or even against Tomato, right? Like, even if he has the cleave damage with the Empower, just doesn't want to be focused down too quickly on the TB. Is it the greedy play? Probably, but we'll see if it pays off for Yamsun, as mid lane Gunnar got hooked here by Ari for a moment, is going to be okay. Meanwhile, bottom, Yamsun, rather Kasane is the one being focused here on the Darkseer, but he's just kind of tanking through it now with the Vanguard. We'll surge away. Solarbind is out though. Kasane looking like he's got no way out of this. Gonna drop the wall, trying to fight back. Still running as Blast Off does eventually land. Husky still being chased down. Bro ends up finding the kill on the techies, but Kasane finally ends up dropping.
Yeah, he has to drop a lot there just to try to find that counter kill. You're still very much happy on Nouns to just, again, get a running start on Yamsen, keep slowing down this Darkseer. A very slow game for Kasane in comparison to his game one. So you're not going to see these big timings come in too fast. The Guardian Greaves, the big one for the Darkseer here, perhaps even a blink down the line just to get some connections going. And Nouns, again, just in control of the game.
Oh, he's got no way out of this move. He's already popped the Firefly earlier. It is coming off cooldown, so he can use it now and maybe give himself a chance. He'll go for the lasso, but it's not going to prove to be enough. Waimon able to just Icarus dive in to secure the kill. Sadly for Nouns, like they aren't trying to pressure the mid-tier 1 tower, but Brawl is still there hanging around, forcing it back, so you don't really find too much out of this death. Scanner already popped the Swashbuckle, forced to go for the Rolling Thunder now. Ari going for a bit of a chase, maybe looking for a hook. Gunner still hanging around, and there's your hook out. But he still had a bit of time on the Rolling Thunder, so he's going to be okay.
It's always funny to see a hook on a Rolling Thunder.
Yeah.
It's like, how does Pudge even hook into that? I don't think he can pierce through the carapace. But...
Again, might be in danger, going for a double pull with the Firefly, getting a little bit greedy here with the amount of farm he wants. And Mer, he's going to try to run with the Firefly. At least they do find Kasane in the meantime. And Mu is still running. He is not down. He actually makes it out. Just barely, but the chase is on. Bryle, he needs to land a power shot from a mile away, and it looks like he won't even try for it. So Mu will survive. Kasane the one to go down to the Darkseer.
Again, they're just getting that start you'd want. A little bit on the edge there for Mu. It does pay off. He's dragging a lot of attention to himself. He's freeing up space here for Yamsen and the Terrorblade to really enjoy himself. Granted, again, as you pointed out, Tomato's not too far behind, considering that slower laning start for him. He is still farming up. He is on his way towards that Echo Saber timing with the Mask of Madness up and running. This is something that we see Tomato really lean into his mag, still loving that Mask of Madness. And again, you're just waiting here for TSM because your team fight, frankly, isn't online. The White One has some room to soak up into his level 6. You're also very close to having that.
Yeah, speaking of White One, close to level 6, not quite close enough here. John is going to die at the level 5 mark, and Nouns still looking fantastic. 12 minutes in. Really, like that Wisdom Rune deny from Husky, like just taking both of them away, has really kind of affected TSM quite negatively because neither of the supports can hit level 6.
Yeah, they're not in line. They can't make those plays until the levels are up. And that just allows Nouns to constantly take these engagements, constantly play greedier, keep getting these pulls, knowing that the punishment is still pretty far off from the side of TSM. You are getting a little bit of room out. Kasane, he's got some room to farm at the least. Mech on its way soon. Ari.
They jump in. Ari. The Soulbind taking way too much damage as Lelis securing that kill. TSM trying to push in the mid-tier 1 tower in the meantime. Gunner even going for a chase. Very aggressive positioning. Nice Rolling Thunder though, finding Waimon mid-Icarus dive, but he pops the egg just to be able to survive through this. Is now Gunner is the one in trouble, but is able to roll out. No problem. So TSM still desperately just trying to survive the onslaught that is Nouns. Only saving grace right now is Tomato's having a pretty darn good game, but to be fair to them, Yamsun is having an even better game right now in the TB.
Yeah, but he's not too far ahead. He's only about, what, 200 gold, maybe less than around 100 gold ahead of Tomato. Same thing goes for Gunner. He's not that far ahead of Ryle. And Kasane is managing to pull a little bit ahead of Mu. So even after all these kills, you're still at a pretty equal state right now between both sides. And that bodes in favor of TSM. I think if you were Nouns, you were looking for a much wider lead off the back of these kills. But TSM are still efficient across the map. Eventually, that threat of the team fight will kick in. And I don't think you have an advantage enough in terms of levels or items to look to make these 5v5s very awkward once TSM has the items up. Again, right now, the name of the game for Nouns is still apply that pressure, try to run down, try to find more objectives. Like, Gunner's got the right idea, gunning down this mid. His teammates need to kind of play around that. Just look for the objectives, shrink the map as much as you can, and keep bullying TSM while they're unable to field a strong 5v5 just yet.
Still a very even affair here. Less than 1k advantage for Nouns. At the very least, it's an even game, which is what we like, because game 1 was way too one-sided. Nouns, grouping up as 3 mid lane, are going to smoke up. They will be fighting into the Rod of Atos now of Bryle. Not the biggest deal, though. A bit later timing than he would have liked, I'm sure, on the Wind Rangers. Poor old Kasane's just had a very tough time on the Darks here. It looks like he is set to fall again as the Solar Bind does come out, but he is able to run out of range. The TP support is incoming. TSM, they want to pick off. Gunner's going to TP away just fine. Ari landing the hook onto the techies instead. Should be able to find Husky. But it's not really worth that many rotations. You really wanted a core kill at the very least. Not going to quite find it. As Gunner in the meantime, he just takes down mid-tier 1 tower.
Yeah. I think the one thing that you get from TSM there is that, again, you're fighting into the smoke, so you kind of break that off. You're pretty happy with Kasane living. You get a little bit of a bonus coming out. And even though you teleport that many heroes, it's not like there are openings for Nouns, considering where they moved on the map. So they're not able to try to gun for their own pickoffs. The mid-tier 1 take is pretty big from Gunner. Can just shrink the map as much as possible, but right now the side of TSM, they're ready to find that bot tier 1. So finding a little bit of opening for themselves to keep that farm game up and maybe invade a little bit further into that bot jungle. They've got good wards watching that twin gate right now, so getting a little bit of vision down into the farming area, but not too much. 9 to 5. The big timing next is really Bryle's Gleipnir. I think that's where things get scary, because suddenly you can set up, you can follow through from these vac walls if you get a good angle.
Lilith.
And, ooh.
Yeah, I mean, just an easy pick off there, trying to go after the power rune, but then realizes Bryle was just hanging around. And sadly for Lilith, it was nighttime, so he did not have the vision over the Wind Ranger. Husky going for a bit of a cheeky blast off, but not able to land. I believe he was looking for Kasane. Nouns, now with the Blink Dagger coming out on Gunner, they might want to try and go for another smoker. Get a bit of a surprise reveal on that itemization here from Gunner. Thing is, Nouns, they look a little bit too split up for it. I just don't like the fact that they're slowing down a bit too much, in my opinion, because TSM, like, they were behind at the start of the game, but now they've had enough time to catch their way up. Maybe they can find mid Bryle. Rod of Atos is out, and he's going to be able to run. Instead, Solarbind is committed on Ari. He's got the Sunray to try and heal him up. The blast-off is incoming. Ari is going to die. They do at least find themselves a punch. That's about all Nouns are going to find here in the mid lane.
Yeah, it's not enough considering all of that commitment, considering that's your blink reveal in Gunner. I think TSM Bryle dodges out very well, getting the chain stuns, getting the distance between him and Gunner pretty nicely to avoid any further losses or avoid a big loss. Kind of fine. I do agree with you though, Mike. Like, Nouns, it does feel like they needed to find more with this advantage because an equal game just doesn't feel comfy.
Rod of Atos is out onto Husky. They'll hook him up, and eventually the techies will drop. Bryle to take that one on the Wind Ranger, and it's slowly starting to feel like TSM are getting ready to go for the big team fights. You do have the Harpoon up on Tomato now, so he might want to actually get involved. And now it's still 2k in the lead. In fact, they're going to pop a Rolling Thunder and try to move in. Gunner, he does land onto Ari, but now with the egg down and nobody to hit the egg, they do not want the fight. They do at least successfully disengage, so TSM will have to do the exact same thing. Not really sure who that favors, but I suppose if you're Nouns, you might be able to smoke right back up after the Rolling Thunder's back off cooldown. And you'll have a little bit of time without the egg being available.
Yeah, that's a nice small takeaway for Nouns. Overall, I'd actually lean that these kinds of plays are playing in favor of TSM. It's just stall. It's all about stall. This again, isn't giving any openings out to nouns unless they can capitalize on that lack. Oh,
Lasso, they are going to find Whitemon.
yeah, capitalize like that. Just when that egg's down, look for the pickoff. Granted, not the biggest pickoff, but you find something, you try to widen this lead. The BKB timing for Tomato is still set to line up really nicely. And again, that's pretty scary. Like this BKB plus Blink for Tomato is really what we're looking for now. And the Gleipnir timing for Brawl. His Maelstrom's almost done. And gonna be about 700 gold. Maybe about 900 gold away right now for the full thing. And that leads to TSM finding those openings, because that can just follow through from a big vac wall, get the additional control, line up for Tomato to kind of get his own AoE damage off. The side of Nouns, and they've taken all the tier 1s. Map's really open. They've got some good wards to spot out where TSM's moving around. No D wards just yet coming out here from TSM. So they've always got a good read as to what TSM's trying to do. And they should be able to just, again, use that to their advantage. Octarine up and running on Moo. He's just going to be able to run around, especially if you get Chakra onto the Bat Rider. Pretty much almost 100% uptime on the Firefly at this point. Oh.
Rolling Thunder popped here, Gunner. Just able to get the regen rune with that. It's going to put the Rolling Thunder on cooldown for a little bit, but it seems like Nouns aren't intending on fighting. They just want to give time to Yamsun. Let him get to the point where he has the full Manturn Butterfly, and then he's... Maybe you still want to go for an Ice Scotty after that, but you're still going to have some pretty nice item timings. So Moo's going to run into Kasane, but won't be able to catch him.
Radiant are scanning.
TSM in the meantime, they're going to group up as 5. Smoke popped on 4. Kasane gets left behind. I guess he can run the old-fashioned way, though. He'll be fine.
Radiant's middle tower.
This is the BKB timing of Tomato they're trying to abuse here. Problem is they don't really see too much of the map. But they are going to head down towards the south and see if they can pick somebody off that way.
Radiant's middle tower.
Smoke is probably going to run out before they get there, to be fair, though. See if Tomato can find something with his harpoon.
Top tower is under attack.
Smoke is literally just about to wear off. Tomato trying to get out of creep wave vision. They have not seen him. Mines being placed here, and the minefield sign is down as well here from Husky, so they won't be able to deal with those mines. It's Tomato will hit Roshan. Will realize the mines are around. In they go into the bot lane. They have found Brawl already. The hook is not going to land. It got Kasane instead, or rather it got Husky. Brawl is gone. That's a great start already for Nouns, as now they can focus on Tomato. He'll pop his BKB, try and go after Yamsun. He'll get the RP right in the wall. Maybe he can deal with the TB in time, but no, the Sunder's out.
Oh my god.
Yamsun's gonna survive, but the egg, it is gonna explode. Yamsun is still down, but Nouns, they might be able to clean up here in this team fight, as they've got Tomato down. Only one more left, and that's gonna be Kasane. Nouns able to make it work, 2-5. Some very cheeky moments in that team fight, John, but Nouns, they pull one off.
And it's really awkward for TSM. Instantly losing out on Braille, doesn't get the best Gleipnir use. You still get a decent enough RP onto one. You really focus in onto Yamsun, but it's costly. It's just really, really costly. A 7k lead coming out from Nouns off the back of that. Great control coming out from Nouns. Just finding these angles, punishing TSM for overcommitting onto that team fight. And now getting even more items up. The Ags up and running on Gunner, as we can see in the replay. Again, just instantly locking in on Braille. If the hook saved Braille, this fight might have been very, very different. Like, he gets to live. He maybe gets his focus fire off onto someone else. Gets the Gleipnir used up in a big way. I mean, great focus from Tomato to find this angle onto Yamsun, to salvage something out. And a good hook from Ahri to drag him back into the egg. Just no follow through. Like, you needed your Wind Ranger there to really help clean up towards the end, and now it's just again working this opening.
TSM aren't done though, John. They're coming. They've got another wall available here with Kasane, and Roshan is not going down fast enough. They can intervene. They're gonna see Moo. Harpoon is out from Tomato, who'll drag him right back to the side of TSM. It's Moo. He's actually a tanky boy. Tomato, the one dropping, needs to back off. I think TSM Need to get out of this one. Azari does get a hook off on Gunner, but it is not going to help. TSM falling way too low. Need to get the hell out of there, but Nouns, they want to go for the chase. Ari getting caught out here on the punch is going to go down. Nouns able to win another team fight as they are still looking for a little bit more. Unable to find what they wanted, but they've got two, and they can go back and safely now take Roshan.
This should be no drama this time from TSM. Not going to be trying to run in. A bit optimistic to try that one. I feel like these angles are just really rough to find for Kasane right now without its own blink up, prioritizing the Ags. There are some good things you can do with your Ags up. Normal punch into Terrorblade is pretty much the big one. Having a free Terrorblade illusion up is going to help massively. And you are waiting for Tomato's blink. So it's still down to the blink timings here for TSM. I'm pretty surprised they're actually forcing out these big 5v5s without these initiation angles coming out, giving Nouns a lot more leeway to respond, to kind of punish this slow trickle in from the side of TSM. You've got the secondary life up in Yamsun. He's got the full butterfly farmed up, going into the Sanjin Yasha next for a lot more stat resist as well. Going to be massive up against all of this hard control from TSM. And now you've got that comfy lead for Nouns. 9k up, Dagon up and running from Lelis. This is big in terms of trying to kill off these illusions that you're trying to build up from Kasane. So I do love this response from Lelis, just understanding they need to burst those Terrorblade illusions when they appear. He's got the option to do that now for himself.
Well, they're going to find Ari. Pudge is down once again. Ari not having the greatest game in the world here on the pos 4 Pudge, and I mean, Nouns are still looking very, very strong here in this game too. 9k advantage now, 19-9. You love to see it. Blink up now on Tomato. He needs to make some work happen, I'll tell you. He's the rule-saving grace right now for TSM. The rest of the players just not seeming to have a game, so this blink needs to work out. But Nouns, I mean, with the Aegis up, they've still got basically 3 minutes of safety here. TSM are going to try and avoid any kind of team fight that's incoming.
Dire's structures are fortified. Dire's top tower.
That is going to buy plenty of time for the Amson to now go after the nullifier he wants on the TB. So Ari is prepping by the tier 2 top tower for something, but he's all alone. There's just no point in being here. He will eventually walk his way out.
Yeah. Just maybe trying to see if you can fish someone out, get a TP in, and maybe get a pick off, but not really going to be able to find that. This stall out for TSM, it's something they need. At the least, the Ags is pretty much almost done on Kasane. So you will have the normal punch ready. Needs to blink on top of that. Tomato with his blink, as you mentioned, needs to put that work in. We've got to see these combinations connect. We have to see the 5v5 work out for TSM, because that's where this lineup shines. They just RP skewer into wall, have a good, and try to find these big control with the egg on top and get these openings. Now and still, they've been pretty disciplined in staying far apart. We haven't seen the clump ups that TSM needs to go back into this game. And as long as now it stays that way, very split apart, then even in these 5v5 team fights for TSM, it's still going to be a little bit awkward.
Blink dagger up here on Mu. Mu's absolutely huge on this hot flame Batrider. Smoke is up. They want to take full advantage, get that blink surprise going. Aegis is still up for another minute and a half here for Yamsun, so a very advantageous kind of team fight to try and take here if you are Nouns. Whitemore was the only one showing in the mid lane at the moment, and he's gone now. Going back towards his team, so they seem to know that Nouns might be smoked up. TSM still posturing. Tomato, he'd be a massive pick if they can find it, but a hook is there. Ari gonna force the Gleipnir out from the Wind Ranger, so Mu could not find the lasso. They are still chasing though. Eventually they are able to pick up Bryle. A massive pick off. As it seems like Tomato was trying to at least find Yamsun. Hook, oh, it's barely short. Yamsun's fine, but Tomato, he's looking for an RP. He's gonna find a 3-man RP. Drag them right back into the loving arms of TSM. Lelis and Husky are both gone. The Aegis as well going down now as the shackle is there. They have found the Terrorblade. Yamsun trying to run, skewered back. Tomato making it work, or has he? The Sunder was out now, still trying to fight. Tomato still manning up here, but dropping way too low. He is gone. He can buy back if he wants to. But it seems like TSM, they just want to retreat. It's probably the best they're going to get out of this team fight. It was a 2 for 3 anyway with the buyback committed. I suppose the third was the Aegis also going down here for Yamsun, so maybe not the biggest deal in the world here for Nouns, but the threat of the RP is certainly a pretty scary one.
And you have to respect the output of that Magnus. So much damage coming out from that hero. Just higher base damage than even the Terrorblade, even without Empower. It's kind of ridiculous what you can get just from stats with Universal Heroes. And TSM, they're showing us what can happen if a team fight lines up. That wasn't even the ideal team fight, because Egg was popped earlier, Wall was popped earlier. They find another pickoff onto Ahri. TSM, they just need to connect these spells. It was super staggered. The RP opportunity was big, but can you imagine if that fight had the Wall with the RP, had the Egg with the RP? A very different story that TSM just aren't connecting with.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's TSM. It's not getting all their marbles in order here, it seems. As you know, we were kind of commenting on the offlane that didn't work out for Nouns last game. It's kind of the same story here with TSM this game. Just this offlane duo of Pudge Darkseer not really paying off thus far. And you only need to make it work one time, to be fair, but Nouns is doing such a fantastic job as now Yamsun 4k ahead of the Magnus. It's got the 4 SNY up. Looking for the Nullifier. Looking for an MKB after that. Not even wasting his time with an IF Skadi pickup. Just doesn't need it. The TSM, they are still desperately trying to get to the stage where they feel powerful enough to continue fighting back. I suppose that time is probably now, but Nouns do not want the fight any longer without the Aegis. So it's probably going to be back to the Roshan timing again. All about this next Roshan. Yeah, TSM, I'm sure they'll appreciate the time given to them to try and farm up this Mantra on Tomato. Brawl trying to get the BKB up. But Nouns will farm at the same time. Like, you're going to have an overwhelming blink coming out on Gunner. So again, Yamsun's going for a Nullifier into an MKB. So he's going to be hitting even harder on the TB. It's not going to be a very fun time for TSM, even once those core items are up.
Yeah, it's still rough. Still very, very rough for TSM after the fact. I'm really interested that Tomato is gone for more damage. Going for the Chrysalis into... Okay, now a Satanic, so not even going for the full, say, Daedalus up here. He does need at least a Dispel. Like, I felt like the Manta was a really good pickup stats on the Universal Hero, plus having a way of dealing with that Spirit Vessel. That's kind of been the one thing ruining Tomato in these fights. Just a late Spirit Vessel coming out from Lelis kind of holds him down. They will smoke up here on TSM. They've got that Blink on Kasane. So if you can get that Vac Wall with the RP follow-up hold and the Egg, and these 5v5s, that's where TSM shines, but the mines do signal a smoke. They have that sense off.
There we go. Quick blink out, they'll see Gunner. Gunner's going to be the one to jump in though, fighting Brawl with the Diffusal Blade. Bash out as well through Rolling Thunder. The hook is out, but Brawl is just gone. Dismember committed by Ahri, but it's cancelled immediately by the Pengo. It's TSM. It's getting zero initiation that they're looking for. And now they're going for more. Tomato forced the RP up. He's going to try and fight back. The Skewer is there onto Gunner and Moo, but they are both still walking away from this. Kasane has not dropped the Vac Wall either. They are just trying to retreat. Save these spells for another moment. But now they're going after the mid-tier 3 tower now. And without Braille, without Ahri up, it's going to be a little bit challenging to defend this tier 3.
It's just going to melt. Yamsun's got the damage. A little bit surprised they didn't commit too hard from TSM, but it does work out. They can gun for the secondary fight.
Oh, here we go. Lasso's out. They found Whitemon. Back wall is dropped, but it does nothing. Ahri, hook is out, but it hits a creep. And they are still just going after this mid-racks. Like, there's just nothing slowing them down. So eventually seeing Tomato back up, TSM are going to, rather nouns are going to retreat. I mean, the RP is not even available right now, so they'd be a little bit afraid, I guess, of the skewer back. But that's pretty much it. But they will play it safe.
They respect TSM's high ground hold. With the tier 3 gone, someone's always got to respond to the mid shove now. You've got an opening for downs down the line. And you've got a pretty fast Roche respawn. You should be able to grab that Roshan down south. Get yourselves the Aegis and Cheese. TSM, again, they're constantly forcing out these smokes. This happened before in the same lane down bot. Like, it doesn't line up. They still force a fight. They did try to retreat this time, but Bryle's caught out in a position where he can't escape. Still not having that BKB. It's really awkward for TSM when any single part of this fight disappears. Still a smoke up, but you're smoking into the mines. They do know something's coming out here from nouns, and they're also smoked.
Here we go. Big moment to come here. Nouns, TSM, Tomato. He's on the low ground. He might have his smoke broken any moment. Jump in is there from Gunner. He goes right onto Whitemon. They found Brawl again. They've got the Wind Ranger held down with the lasso. Brawl has no way out. He is gone. Ari, though, Hook is landing onto the Batrider as Whitemon's going to pop the egg, but everyone's already backed out of there. They've left these guys behind. Yamsun with a triple kill now on the Terrorblade. As both Kasane and Tomato are out of this. In fact, I say that Kasane still getting caught by Gunner. Is going to go down. Tomato the only survivor. And you're starting to kind of go back the other way. Like TSM, they haven't lost the racks yet, but you might start to feel like you want to call this one. It is a very one-sided game here from Nouns.
It's all down to TSM constantly forcing this movement out. It is really hard to get a smoke play out when you're up against techies, but man, the positioning of these mines from Husky makes it near impossible to just try to find an opening. I feel like you are in a really bad position, but your high ground play is still strong. You just need to connect. And again, that's something we've seen TSM struggle with. We've just not seen this big combination of vac wall RP, egg on top. You're really not having that much impact in Brawl, which is again where I kind of am not sold on the Wind Ranger core. Again, it's working out in pubs. In the DPC, it's got like a 46% win rate, if I recall right. Just not a hero that's been popping off outside of certain stompy games. And the Roshan now being taken by Nouns. Again, Aegis and Cheese available. High ground siege gonna open up. TSM, just play for high ground. There's no need to try to smoke out like this. Your lineup is fit for these choke points. Just force Nouns into the choke point and punish there. They should get the message now. You know, they're not looking to go too aggressive, too far out. They're trying to find what farm they can in this downtime. But they have to find a way to kill off Yamsun twice. We've seen them kill him off once, but once is not enough. And maybe now it gets a little bit easier with Tomato getting that full Satanic up. He should, again, have that secondary dispel, have a way of dealing with the Spirit Vessel charges coming out from Lilith, which might actually be enough to turn the tides if they connect all their spells here.
Here we go. They'll have a chance. Just the TB illusions coming in for now. Nouns still hanging around the dire jungle. So Yamsun's even queued up an Aghanim Scepter, and he's just going to buy it outright. Not even saving for buyback gold. Just looking for the about 300 gold for the point booster. Make that nothing now. He's got enough gold for it. So you got the Ags coming out, which means the Terror Wave is going to be available for Yamsun. Now the double Metamorphosis with the Terror Wave available. And TSM, I mean, you're still trying to even just farm the BKB on Brawl at the moment. It's how bad things have gone here for this Wind Ranger. And even, like, the big problem here is it does seem to be the lasso coming out from Mu. Just constantly just looking for Braille. They will not find either Braille or Whitemon that time around, but my point stands. I think the BKB is nice on Brawl, but the lasso is still probably going to be an issue.
Certainly is. Like, Mu's just always found the angle. He's super farmed up in the Batrider. It's not too hard to kind of spot out the Wind Ranger. Just lasso, get that control. And again, if you miss even one part in this fight for TSM, it just becomes really hard to find that follow through. So we'll have to see. A 30k deficit. They're holding on. The side of nouns, at some point, they're going to have to group up as 5 to take these objectives. Although, I suppose you could just slowly chip away with these Terrorblade illusions as well. That's one way to get it done.
You certainly could. There's going to be a skewer back here from Tomato, just trying to deal with them, but the lasso is out again. Brawl caught out this time, though. Ari does save, having the shards up now. He can just eat the Wind Ranger, but Yamsun is moving in with the Terror Wave. Thing is, though, with the Trickster's Cloak, they were able to walk away as they did not have detection for Ari. So a lot of good things happening here as Tomato. He'll go for the skewer back into the tier 4 towers. Mind you, Yamsun does have the Aegis up, so he shouldn't be in too much danger. In fact, he's healing up through all of this. They've already got Kasane down. Yamsun going for his Sunder onto Waimon, not quite finding the kill. In fact, Yamsun, oh, he's still alive with the power shot. It does barely get him. That's one life down, but Kasane is not available to help out as he's going to be another skewer back from Tomato. Onto Husky this time around. They'll take down the techies, but they are going to lose their mid-melee barracks. And that's going to be enough for now. They're happy with this, I think. Though I say that, Moo's looking for a lasso again. He's going to find Brawl on that Wind Ranger. Nullifier out, but a big RP Tomato. Going to drag them right into the T3 tower. Underneath the egg. Is it enough, though? Everyone's just walking away. Oh, they just walk away. Jump back in onto Tomato. The Magnus is in huge danger. He should just be dead. With the Nullifier, he's got no chance of escape. They zap him with the Dagon. Ari's down as well. GG is called. And they try their best here, TSM. But Nouns, they get things together. They force us to a game number 3 here in this best of 3 series. And I don't know about you, John, but now it's TSM that feels like they might...